What we get from this passage is several different things. But just to really kind of break down and understand the passage, I really want to give you a historical background of what's going on in this passage. Every single year, all the Jews and all the people who follow God, they went to this feast, this festival, in which they called the Passover. And basically what the Passover is a celebration of is the Israelites being free from Egypt. And so you have all these people coming to this festival every year. I mean, literally there are millions of people coming to this small city named Jerusalem every single year to celebrate this event. And so there's millions of people there. People are very excited to be there. In fact, whenever you get that many people in one small city, it brings a certain excitement about it. Even the people who did not follow God came to this event because it was that exciting. You know, it's just so awesome. If you ever go to a conference or a concert, an energy that comes to the room when there's lots of people. And there was millions of people who's come to this festival. And so the people are very excited. The people are like, oh, I'm excited to be here. And so Jesus and his brothers and all his family was there, and they went to this festival. And everyone's pumped, everyone's excited. And so once they got there, they celebrated the festival. They probably ate the Passover meal, and they began just to really partake in the festivities that comes along with the festival. And so once they began to do this, it was time for them to leave. And so they were in the temple, and Jesus' parents, they said, you know, it's time to get back home. And so they left. And they thought Jesus was with them, but he really wasn't. And so every step they took, they went further away from Jesus, and they went all the way till they got to their house, to their home, which was a day's travel. And they began to look for Jesus amongst his friends, and maybe along the way he's hanging out with a friend or someone like that. But they couldn't find him after 3 days. And tonight, what I really want to talk to you about tonight is this. There's so many people in the spiritual realm who has going to the temple, and a lot of you come to church and you know God and you come to meet God, and some of you come to this altar and begin to experience God and begin to experience the salvation that God offers to people. And a lot of you begin to really encounter God here at church. And a lot of you feel like God has touched your life, God has done something for you in your life. He's helped your parents out, he's helped your family out, he's helped you out with certain situations. And a lot of you feel like God has touched you here at this church. The problem is that a lot of us, we leave this church and we leave Jesus behind as well. And here's the deal. There's so many different people who come to this church and they live a certain way, but when they go home and when they go to their schools and when they go hanging out with their friends, Jesus is nowhere to be found. In fact, if you look at your life, look at your Facebook, look at your Twitter, look at your phone, and look at all these things, look at the websites you've been on, when you look at these things, Jesus is nowhere to be found. The problem is this. There's so many people who come and encounter God here. I mean, if this place is sacred, this place is the place where we come to celebrate him. This is the place where we come to get to know him more, but we leave him here. And just as Jesus' parents did in the physical, we do it all the time in the spiritual. All the time we come here and we celebrate him, but in the midst of the festivities, in the midst of everything going on around us, we got so distracted that we end up leaving him here. And he's not in school with us. He's not at home when we talk with our parents. He's nowhere to be found. And so I believe that Jesus wanted me to ask you the question, where is Jesus in your life tonight? Is he anywhere to be found? Is he there? Is he in the conversations you have? Is he in the way you respond to your parents? Is he in the way you approach school? Is he in the way that you do relationships? Where is he? And is he found, and can people see him in your life? Because for some of you in this room, you have encountered God here, but you have left him here. And so tonight, what I really want to do is give you 3 ways and three things that we learn from this story that we can really grow from and really learn from. Because unless we learn how to take Jesus with us, unless we learn how to say, you know what, God, I want to encounter you here at church, but I want to encounter you at my school. I want to encounter you at my home. I want to encounter you at all times. 24/7, I want you to be there. You know, because here's the deal. The way that God works is that even if you get far away from him, It's so hard to live for him. Like some of you have been asking yourself, why is it so hard to live for God? How come these things, how come I keep making these same old mistakes? How do I find myself making these mistakes? And some of you get surprised at yourself when you make certain mistakes. You're like, man, how could that happen? And the only reason why that happened is because Jesus is not in your life. You actually left him here. And so I really want to talk about that, because here's the deal. His parents went one day, just one day's travel from him. And they just went one day. They lost their focus just for one day, and he was nowhere to be found. And here's the deal. A lot of us think that we can take off in our walk with God. A lot of us think that, hey, we can just kind of maybe do church every now and then, and maybe 3 times a week I need to pray, or maybe every now and then I need to talk to God, or I need to connect with God. But let me tell you, like every single day you need to be connecting with God, because his parents just went one day without him, and he was lost. He was nowhere to be found. And the reason why some of us make some crazy mistakes in our life is because we lose focus even for one day. Imagine 2 days. Imagine you not, connecting with God for 2 days. But imagine what a lot of people do. Imagine weeks without connecting with him. Imagine going periods of time not really knowing him, not really talking to him, not really getting to know him better. Just imagine where you're at that point when that happens in your life. You're nowhere near Jesus. You're nowhere to be. He's nowhere to be found in your life. The other day I was, anybody knows me, my phone got stolen at Iron Bridge Sports Park. So now I'm stuck with this phone. So anybody see, this is probably the most dated phone in this room tonight.
I'm stuck with the flip cell too. It's okay. I feel your pain.
Yeah. Everybody say hi to Lulu. She wants to say hi to her. Hi, Lulu. So anyways, I have this flip cell phone, and so I don't have GPS on here, of course. And so the other day I was on my way to a place called U-Turn in Richmond, and I was hanging out, and I was in my car on my way there, and I got lost. And I had no way of getting directions from this phone. In fact, there's nothing I can do but make calls and maybe text from this phone. It takes me like 8 minutes to say one word with this phone, the text. So I began to. Text me back? Yeah, that's why. That's why I never text you back, because it takes me forever to text. So anyways, I began to hang out, whatever, and I'm like, man, what I'm gonna do? I got lost. I don't have my GPS. I don't have a phone with a GPS. What am I gonna do? No, it's just crazy. And so I pulled over to the gas station, and I began to kind of wait and kind of see. I asked the attendant, hey, I got lost. Can you help me out? And so he was funny. He just kind of laughed at me. Then he pulled out his iPhone, and he typed in the address for me. And he's like, man, you made a wrong turn right here. You came off the wrong exit. I mean, you're completely off the course that the original MapQuest sent you on. Like, why did you do that? The guy was saying to me, like, hey, I made a wrong turn, my bad. So it was awesome, because all he did was type in the address, and his GPS got the location of where I was at, and it got me back on track to my destination. And here's the deal. A lot of you in this room, some of you may find yourself drifting so far away from God that you have left him here, and you have gone maybe a week's journey, maybe 2 weeks journey without connecting with God, and he's so far behind, and he's nowhere to be found in your life. Like when people ask you a question, where's Jesus? And most of you will have to say, I don't know. And so a lot of you are completely off track. But what I love about God is that there's like a spiritual GPS system. It always just gets your location, puts you back on track to your destination, to being close with him. And so some of you may feel so far away from God tonight. Some of you may feel like, hey, I've made so many crazy mistakes. I have drifted away from God. And all God wants to say to you tonight is, dude, I can get you back on track. I can get you back to you being close to him and back to your goal to get to your destination. So there's 3 things that happens whenever we don't see Jesus around. And the first one is distractions. is that his parents got caught up with all the distractions, especially in this season. You know, there's so many different distractions we face. You know, there's the distraction of, of Christmas, and we're all concerned about our Christmas gift. I know I'm so excited for Christmas. I'm hoping that Brittany gives me a MacBook Pro, the brand new one that just came out with the 4 gigabyte with Word, all Microsoft Word programs downloaded on it, all Adobe Shop programs downloaded already on it. All right, I just got that out there. You record that, Brittany? Yeah, you record that? And so we get so distracted with Christmas and our presents and all the different things that comes along. And distractions often keeps us from really focusing on Jesus. Like, just imagine his parents. His parents was there. There's this huge festival going on, and they were on their way home, and they were so caught up in the moment and so caught up in the festival that they were distracted away from Jesus, and that's how they. And let me tell you this: not all distractions are bad. You know, sometimes distractions are not a bad thing. They're not bad things in your life. It's just that whenever anything in your life, people, things, or whatever, anything keeps you from focusing on Jesus, it becomes a distraction. And so basically, even church things could be a distraction. Maybe fine arts, maybe a kids play, maybe being involved in certain different things could be a distraction from you really seeking Jesus. You know, there's so many things that can keep you from really focusing on him. It could be relationships. It could be a certain negative music. It could be certain negative things you watch on TV. It could be so many different things to keep you distracted from Jesus. And God wants you to think about those things that kind of got you distracted, kind of got your mind wandering, and to really focus back on him. And that leads me to my second point.